What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about two things. I'm going to be talking about Tim Patrick running his mouth about the Chiefs. I'm going to be talking about John Elway leaving the organization. And these are the two things that are worth covering that I'm going to cover. There's nothing really happening in the offseason, so my Broncos content is a little dry. It's a little, there's not as much content coming out at as fast of a rate as it typically would. But first off, I'm going to address Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick is slamming the Chiefs. Oh, the Chiefs are cocky. I'd be cocky too if my franchise has totally owned your franchise for 15 straight games. For 15 straight games, the Kansas City Chiefs have completely owned the Denver Broncos. Second off, what the fuck have you done in the last 2 seasons? You were injured all year, and when you got the contract extension, you showed flashes of being decent, but you're not really that good as a receiver. You're overpaid by John Elway. How about you guys do your talking on the football field? How about you guys do your talking on Sunday when you go into Arrowhead and actually win the fucking game? How about that? You have all this, you guys have all this energy in the offseason. You guys have all this, lip to run, all these gums to flap in the offseason, but you guys have absolutely nothing to show for it on Sundays. In fact, I can't even remember the last time Kansas City took you guys seriously as an opponent. When Kansas City plays against the Denver Broncos, they take the week off. They experiment on offense. They play at 50% speed. Did you see Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball right at the middle linebacker 2 times against the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Championship? No. Did you see Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball right at the middle linebacker against the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl? No. Did you see Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball right at their free safety against Cincinnati? No. The team you saw in the playoffs was a completely different team than you saw against the Broncos. They played at 50% speed. They were experimenting on offense. They went up 27-0 without even trying. And you guys want to run your mouth? How about you guys actually do some talking on the field and shut the fuck up? How about that? Because I'm so sick of hearing from Justin Simmons about the Chiefs. Now Tim Patrick about the Chiefs. Shut the fuck up and get in the fucking film room. Get in the weight room. Learn how to fucking run routes. Learn how to get open. Do your part. That's all I'm saying. Tim Patrick, run your mouth all you want, but I'd be cocky if my franchise owned your franchise since, 2015, week 2? So it's been about, 8 years almost? It's been about 8 years that this team has completely owned your franchise. I'd be cocky too. Also, John Elway left the organization. I think it's a good thing. I hope he really left the organization. The type of moves we make in the draft will tell you all of that. It's a good first step in the right direction. I think that the new ownership is letting Sean Payton run the show. I think that the new ownership is letting Sean Payton call the shots. I think that the new ownership has seen enough from the front office. They've seen enough when they decided they wanted to sign Russell Wilson to a $250 million contract, overpay Randy Gregory, overpay Alex Singleton, overpay these shitty free agents. They finally said, I've had enough. Sean Payton is running the show now. I hope that's what it looks like. I'm just going to, we'll see how it goes, but as of right now, that's what it looks like. That Sean Payton is running the show. Sean Payton is there to be the football coach. So that's good that the new ownership is letting Sean Payton, who knows football, make football decisions. That is good. Sean Payton is trying to build an identity. He's trying to build an identity on offense. And he probably beefed with John Elway. He was probably like, we need an offensive line that fit my system. We need receivers that fit my system. Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, and Cortland Sutton aren't going to cut it. Signing Randy Gregory to big deals isn't going to cut it. Contract extensions for Justin Simmons and Alex Singleton aren't going to cut it. And, of course, the new ownership, they sided with Sean Payton. The new ownership probably couldn't believe their eyes when nobody wanted to come here. Players, coaches. I mean, when they had to literally bribe somebody to come here and they had to beg Jim Harbaugh to come here, that tells you everything you need to know. But this is a good sign for the new ownership. But we'll see what happens in the draft. The draft is going to tell you everything you need to know. But all I'm going to say is good thing that Elway's out of there. Good thing that the ownership said, nope, you can go. Your contract's up. Get out of here. And hopefully what's next is they fire everybody that John Elway brought in, including George Paton. Because George Paton fell on the sword. He was his puppet man. He's not his own man. I want a general manager who has a pair of balls in between his legs, who's his own man, who has his own opinions, who says it like it is, and does his job like a GM would, not following orders from someone like Elway, not there to be a yes man, not there to fall on the sword. Because if that was me on the podium as a GM, I'm throwing Elway under the bus because he's the one that fucking caused all this shit. I wanted Dan Quinn, but I had to fucking sign Nathaniel Hackett instead. I'm blaming Elway for that. I'm blaming Elway for the Russell Wilson trade. I'm blaming Elway for it all. But no, you went up there and fell on the sword for your boy John Elway. And you showed that you're not a real leader. A general manager has to be a leader. Being a manager requires leadership, and you obviously don't have it if you're going to fall on the sword and take blame for something you didn't do. So George Paton out of there, all the scouts out of there, everybody out of there. Start new, bring in people that fit Paton's system, and let's actually build an identity and stick to it. It's going to take a long time, but I'd rather have losing seasons that mean something. I'd rather go 4-12 or 4-13, have a top 5 draft pick and know that Sean Payton's going to be the one who decides what player we grab in the first round of that year. I'd rather, let the fucking cap space hell that we're going to be in pass, and when we finally have cap space, know that Sean Payton's going to bring in Sean Payton free agents and not John Elway free agents. So that's a good thing. Like I said, we'll see. We'll see what happens with this draft that's coming up. I'm excited for the draft. I'm curious to see what kind of moves will be made. And it'll tell you if Sean Payton is running the show. Because the moves that they've done this year, the moves that the Denver Broncos have made this year are completely different than the moves that they made last year. Mike McGlinchey, that had Elway's fingerprints all over it. But yeah, so I just want to see what moves they make in the draft, and that'll determine who's calling the shots now. I hope that the ownership lets Sean Payton do his job. I hope that they let George Paton do his job. And I hope that they're only there for ownership reasons, to fire the GM when he's not doing well, to fire people in the front office when they're not doing well. And they let the people at their position do their jobs. You come from Walmart, so you guys should run a business, have a chain of command, and each person at the chain of command gets their respect. But we'll see. And Tim Patrick, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up. You have not done shit since you signed this contract. And 2, how about you beat the Chiefs, then talk shit? You guys aren't even good enough to get a full 100% effort performance from the Chiefs, let alone beat them. So shut the fuck up, Tim Patrick.